episode 3 of Pistol Pete's training. Today, just before we jump into it, I want to say a massive thank you to all the responses that have been coming in via our email and our Instagram page of Pistol Pete's training for the first 2 episodes that we posted. Most importantly, that second episode, I did a little bit of a positive rant on our self-limiting beliefs, and the response we had coming in, the response from that one was awesome. Shows that people that really want to have growth, development, but most importantly that mentality, they really want to improve their positivity, not just in business, but also in their personal life, which is absolutely fantastic. So today's episode 3, it's titled Internal Playlist. What I've done is actually jumped ahead on a few of the earlier questions sent in just to address this one. It fits really well into the last episode, what I was talking about, and that's why I just wanted to address this one before I move into the others. So this question was sent in by Dan over in Australia. He said that he really understood how important it is to be positive and have a positive mindset. So his question is, how can I eliminate negative thoughts from my brain for good? Now, it's a really interesting question, but the response and the answer is actually even more interesting. The truth of the matter is, we can never eliminate negative thoughts from our brain. Even when you look at top performers in entertainment, in sport, in business, all of these people still have negative thoughts running through their brain just like everyone else. The only difference is they learn how to control it. And that's what I want you guys to do today. So I want you now to imagine that inside our brain there is a DJ's deck. Now, just like a DJ, when they're on stage, they have 2 songs playing at the same time and they're listening in on both of the songs and they decide which one can be heard and which one can't. Now, imagine inside our brain there's one negative playlist going and one positive playlist going. So these are all our positive thoughts, these are all our negative thoughts. Now, we have to be the DJ, we control our playlist. So what we do is turn down the volume on the negative and turn up the volume on that positive. Now, easier said than done, and I'm sure you can really understand that idea, but how can we do it? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. 2 really easy tips on how we can control that, so we can have a much, obviously, louder playlist on the positivity side, and how we can actually turn down and control that negative playlist. So that's what we're going to jump into next. Cool guys, so the first tip I'm going to give you today is all about active positivity. So this is how we can turn our positive playlist as loud as possible, and I'm going to give you 3 little ways that you can do that. The first one that we're going to talk about is a success board. So a lot of people talk about goal boards and vision boards to give them a focus of where they're going in the future and what they want to achieve. But of course that's very hard to achieve that if you haven't got a positive mentality. So I think a success board is a great way of doing this. What it is it's real visual. It's right in front of you in the morning and right in front of you at night before you go to sleep, and it reminds you of all the amazing things that you've achieved in your life. So what you do is you print out these pictures, not just in business or in your work, but this is stuff in your social life and your personal life as well. I want it up there. Have you done bungee jumps? Have you done skydives? Done marathons? Anything that you thought that you wouldn't be able to achieve and you have done, print out a photo that really represents that, ideally with yourself in it doing that task, and put it on your wall. What it does, it just reminds you how amazing you are and the capability of what you are, just like we were talking about in episode 2, that you are human. I am human, and what it does, it just really lets you know that you're capable of achieving a lot of amazing things. So success board is that first one. The second one we're going to talk about is mini goals. So once again, it's like talking about the big goal boards. Very important to give you a direction of why and where you want to go, but very hard to achieve with a negative attitude. So to get a positive attitude, achieving mini goals is a great way of doing that. So instead of looking on the big scale in sales, for example, looking to make a sale, look at those mini goals of looking to make good introductions or good conversations or meeting a certain amount of customers or talking to a certain amount of customers within a certain time frame. What happens is when you start achieving these mini goals, obviously it fills yourself with pride and with achievement, and what that does is help push that positive volume a lot louder. And the last one we're talking about is positive self-talk. So literally walking around telling yourself you're fucking amazing. And that's what I do on a daily basis, guys. But it is a great way of, obviously, what you're doing is just telling yourself how amazing you are, how awesome you are. And what it does is it just drowns out any of that negativity. It actively keeps that positive force running through your brain. So the first tip I gave you, that active positivity, guys, was focused all about how we can turn the volume up on our positive playlist. The second tip that I'm going to give is focused on the other side. It's how we can turn down the volume on that negative playlist. Now, what I'm going to want you to do now sounds a little bit weird, and normally it's something that most people wouldn't do, but what I actually want you doing is focusing on your negative thought patterns for a while. Now, do this in a controlled environment, just to yourself. I want you focusing on what the negative thoughts are that run through your brain. Now, everyone is a little bit different, but the problem with negative thoughts are when they go unchecked, they pollute the brain. So what I need you to do is understand how your brain works and what your negative playlist is. For example, I've just wrote a couple of generic ideas here. The first one is, I can't do this. The second one is, I'm not good enough. These are common ones that a lot of people tell themselves. The third one, when related to sales, is, I'm not going to make any sales today, or I don't think I'm going to make any sales today. I'm not good enough for that. And the fourth one, even though it doesn't sound like it's complete negativity, because it seems like it's positivity for the next day, it actually is affecting it as a negative thought for that day. That one is, oh well, I can always make sales tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. Now, these are thoughts that I'm sure might have run through your brains before, but you need to understand, these are more generic. You need to understand how your brain works and what your negative self-talk is. Now, once you write these down on a piece of paper, what you do is you notice them a lot more, and it means you can actually start keeping your negative thoughts in check. Because as soon as that negative thought comes up, you hear it, you control it, you turn the volume down. If it leaves unchecked, it will pollute the brain, and it's very hard then to obviously shift that volume change. But if you can control and know what your negative thoughts are, it's easier to turn that volume down on it, because you can cancel it out straight away by applying logic to get rid of that. So that's what I actually want you doing, guys. Focus on those two tips. Understand what your negative playlist is so you can control it and keep it in check, and really actively seek positivity to turn the volume up on the other side. And that's the end of episode 3 of Pistol Pete's training, the internal playlist. So make sure that you guys are applying that information. Obviously, we know information is worthless without application. So find out what your negative thought patterns are so you can keep them in check, and seek out that active positivity, in particular that success board. Not only is it really useful, but trust me, it's a lot of fun actually going through all the successes and achievements you've done over your life. You'll be surprised the amount of them that you've actually done. Now, with this Pistol Pete's training, I don't want it just used for business, guys. I do want it to be used on the personal side, and with the mentality, a lot of that can be done. So that can be in health, that can be in relationships. Understand what your little negative trigger words are that set you off and put you down a negative path, and learn to keep them in check, and obviously really promote the active positivity. Just make you have a lot more happiness in life, as well as in your business side and the results as well. So I want to say a massive thanks for the questions that are coming in, and Dan for sending in that question. And any more questions that get sent in, send them to pistolpetetraining@gmail.com. If what you can do now is quickly pause the video, click the subscribe button below here on the YouTube channel. Once we have 100 subscribers, I can change that awful URL to something that's a little bit more easier, so people can find us on the channel a lot more simpler. And also jump onto Instagram if you've got this, Pistol Pete Training, subscribe to that. It'll give you regular updates on what we're doing, cool little promotional memes and stuff like that that you guys can use to help promote yourself and your teams, and use it for nice little positive thoughts, guys. So thanks so much for that question getting sent in, Dan, and hopefully you guys have got some good content out of that, and we'll see you on episode 4.